Well, today's video is a little bit different. A video I did not picture myself making, but I've been really looking forward to filming. I just thought it would be at a different time. So I shouldn't say wasn't going to make it because I was planning on making this video, but I was planning on making it in a couple more months, at least 2 more months, if not 3 months from now. But here we are because Summerween trend, the home decor stores right now, they have, some of them already have started getting out their Halloween stuff. I've seen tons of YouTubers doing a Halloween in June, a halfway to Halloween filmed in May, and a Halloween in June, as well as lots of clothing stores I'm seeing on Instagram are releasing Halloween merch for a Halloween in June thing. So it's a big trend right now, and since I have been excited to film this, I thought, why not just do it now? And I'll do all the other fall content I had planned in the actual fall. But why not do the books? Because that way you can think about what you might want to read in the fall too, and you can buy them and have them ready, or make a list of what you want to check out in your library and have this list ready to go for in a couple of months. Or if you are on the bandwagon of making it fall in June, then or this might be July when this video goes up, but you can get started. So let's get into these. So since it's technically summer, I have a nice cold Dr. Pepper. So grab a cold refreshing drink unless you want to be warm and cozy. But let's get into my fall book recs categories. We're gonna go from younger, like middle grade age, through ending on like the spooky classics, and then I have even one Thanksgiving book thrown in there too. I'm starting with that if you are less interested, they're going to be at the beginning, so it's easy to fast forward this part. So just know I am going to talk first about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. I'm actually not really going to get into it. This is what this book is. It's the screenplay of the first film, the screenplay of the second film, and that's all you need to know. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. But next is the canon, the Harry Potter. These are, Harry Potter, the books and the films are very popular for autumn because magic, witches, wizards, werewolves, but also for Christmas, and there's a lot of Christmas scenes, especially in the films. And I love that the Mina Lima, the first 2, are red and green, so they would actually be pretty to have out this in the fall, and both of them together for Christmas. But they're just such gorgeous additions. I just love them so much. Again, not going to spend too much time on these. I've shown them before in my book list for February when I just talked books. And you probably are aware of what these books are by now anyway. But starting out with these, obviously, to get the fall vibes if you're a Harry Potter fan. Then I'm going to start with middle grade, Goosebumps. This isn't something that applies to you or anyone in your family who might have kids this age, whatever. Feel free to fast forward this section and the next section. But I'll tell you when we're getting to adult reads. But I actually, when I got this one, I thought it was paperback. So I was very thrilled that it was this hardcover kind because it's like the old-fashioned hardcover, it's just so nostalgic. Obviously, it's 2 of the iconic ones, Say Cheese and Die, and then the Say Cheese and Die Again. This is one of the, choose your own adventure style that I think R.L. Stine is actually, currently, he still does write Goosebumps books, and I know that there's, several new of these kind of choose your own adventures. This is the only one I ever read. I won it from, a library readathon, a summer, you had to read 1,000 pages that summer or something and have your parent say that you did in fact do that or something, Anyway, and then you got a book. So this is the one that I got. The Blob That Ate Everyone, the one little plug I'll give for Goosebumps. Obviously, my mom didn't love that I read them. She was like, there's more wholesome and challenging books out there for you to be reading. But she let me because it was at least instilling a love of reading and writing and storytelling in me, and creativity and imagination, all good things. And then some that you might not have even known about, even if you grew up reading Goosebumps, where he had this whole set, and I have all but the last one because I'm not really interested in it, of like short stories. The first collection was my very favorite, and Strained Peas, that particular one, was one of my favorite stories, and I'd even acted out with my friends and my dolls. And so again, it just fostered a lot of imagination. So second collection is like, it's all taking place in the summer. This one has one story about a school. So it's a good back to school going into the fall. And then this one, some of the stories actually do take place at Halloween. You can see by the covers, always kind of correlate. And then, yeah, actually all of them. You're in for 10 Halloween scares. And pumpkin recipes, all of that. So this is for sure a fall read. The last set that I have. Magic spells, haunted houses, and then obviously the iconic, even if you've never read Goosebumps or seen the movies, you probably still know about Slappy the Dummy. So Night of the Living Dummy 2, 3. Now there's even like Slappy's World. Okay, and we are not quite done with middle grade just yet. So if you're going to go past that, fast forward a few more minutes. The Bone Chillers series, which I've also talked about a little. Goosebumps books helped me like to read and like act things out, but the Bone Chillers books helped me want to write. So this is the very first one in the series. It's Beware the Shopping Mall. It's very poltergeist vibes. The second book in the series was The Little Pet Shop of Horrors. Strange Brew I have mentioned before as well because it was one of my favorites as a kid because I've always loved the weather. And there's like a notebook that has spells, and one of them is a recipe for a storm. So very atmospheric. Attack of the Killer Ants. There was criticism when the Bone Chillers series came out for her because people said she was just copying Goosebumps, and that could be true in a lot of ways. But I feel like Goosebumps is mainly just, it's entertaining, but Bone Chillers also, like all of her other writings, has some kind of a moral lesson typically involved. Why I Quit the Babysitters Club was my absolute favorite. And Strained Peas and Goosebumps being my favorite. Look, I'm an only child and I don't enjoy that fact. And growing up especially, I was kind of like obsessed with babies. I wanted a little sibling really bad. And let's be honest, I'm still obsessed with babies. I have baby fever bad. But I've had baby fever since I was 5 is a joke I like to make sometimes. Because I just wanted a sibling. So anything that had anything about a baby, or supposedly a baby, because this turns out to not be a baby. But the cover has a pram and a baby bottle. That's all I needed to pick this up and be completely obsessed, because I loved anything remotely to link my mind to a baby. So this girl is babysitting what's not a baby. The moral of this story is just kind of about responsibility. And then Scare Bear. Boy he's growing up. He's tired of his stuffed animals, so he throws his beloved bear in the trash, but the bear doesn't take too kindly to that. The last one of these is Romeo and Juliet. To round off the middle grade section, with some you probably have not heard of, by Betty Wren Wright, we have The Pike River Phantom. And this one, I would say, is actually like technically YA, but it's good. Like, I think this is one of those that, yeah, it does say YA fiction, because I think it's from the point of view, yes, the narrator and main character is in high school, so it's YA. And but it's good, like I said, even for adults, and I'm including it because of the vibes. It's not necessarily like a fall book, but it is a mystery. And it is set during the school year, and there's a thunderstorm, so all of those things kind of combined, I feel like lend really well, and I do want to show you, lend really well to the season. The cover, so you can see it is a little bit creepy. She's running away, being followed. And the premise for this is her little half-sister goes missing, and she's also getting these mysterious, creepy phone calls, so there is a little bit of a trigger warning. Nothing is explicit, but if you've ever dealt with unwanted advances in an uncomfortable way, some form of harassment, then just be aware that there are some creepy phone calls. So we've made it through all the books that are written for someone technically under 18. We are on to the adult section now, okay? Maybe not, because this obviously could be read by several ages. Hocus Pocus and the sequel, which, by the way, when I bought this, I kind of just assumed the sequel was going to be the sequel of the movie, but it's a completely different story, and I haven't read it yet. I started reading, it's just basically literally the movie, same quotes and like verbatim, just turned into a book. Last Halloween, I ended up not finishing it, but I thought I can literally just kind of pick up where I left off, because it's not like I'm not familiar with the story, right? I can read wherever, whenever, but I am very interested to read the little sequel, since it's not the Hocus Pocus 2 film. The sequel is 25 years later, Max and Allison's 17-year-old daughter, Poppy, finds herself face to face with the Sanderson sisters. It's a look at if Max and Allison got married, had a child, and she went through basically the same experience. I lost the first part of this clip, so I'm just going to do a voiceover real fast to explain. This is just a cozy house flipper meets dead body kind of a story. A little bit of romance in there with the detective as well, and a cute little camp. And on that note, cozy whodunits, we have got to cover the classics: Agatha Christie, The Body in the Library, A Pocket Full of Rye, A Murder is Announced, Sad Cypress, The 450 from Paddington, There is a Tide, one of her most iconic, famous, Then There Were None, and then this is actually my favorite of Agatha Christie's. It is Curtain. It is Poirot's final case. It is so good. It's such a good study of psychology. It's such a good atmosphere. This actually takes place in the summer, but I still think it's great for fall and Halloween if you just want to get into a certain vibe, because the description of how hot and stifling this place is, and how easily influenced people are by others and persuaded to do things that's not in their character, it's intense. So that's why it's my favorite. It's just intense. Also by Agatha Christie, Halloween Party, obviously a great pickup for Halloween. A little girl is at a Halloween party and is bragging that she has witnessed a murder, and then she is found drowned in the barrel where they were bobbing for apples. And then I actually just barely bought this. It literally just came in the mail a week or two ago, maybe not even 2 weeks. But this is a collection of short stories, and there's now one for every season of the year. So there's a Sinister Spring, Midsummer Mysteries, The Last Seance, and then Midwinter Murders or something like that, or the Fireside Murders, the Fireside Mysteries, something like that, for winter, Christmas. I want to eventually collect them all. What is really special about this, and I don't know if this is true for all the editions, but I know that this one features, it's 20 stories in total, and one of them has never before been published in the US. Before I move on to the last few here, I also want to mention some books that are still coming in the mail, but I wanted to get this filmed. So I will either pop in with them when they arrive or just show you somewhere over here, probably on the screen, pictures of the covers. But they are by Isis Crawford. They are part of the Catered Murder series that she does. And it's first a catered Halloween and then a catered costume party. And while technically you don't have to read any of her books in order, I do recommend you read a catered Halloween and then a catered costume party, because a catered costume party is taking place at the same location as the first one, the catered Halloween. And so it's nice to know what went on. She does still kind of tell you in the book in case you don't read them in order, but I just enjoyed that I had read that one first. So I would, if you would like to read like 2 back to back to just kind of carry you through all of like October, just reading about Halloween parties. Moving on to a couple more classics, just like dive into the really old spooky vibes, super classic stories. We have Hamlet, and then obviously Macbeth. I need a moment of silence. The cover. I have never read Dracula before, and I almost certainly will be now. Look at it. Well, obviously Dracula. Do you want to read a horror story for Halloween? Dracula is quintessential. Like everything about vampires in the last 200 years has come back to Bram Stoker. Is it Bram or Bram? Everyone says Bram, but I feel like it would be pronounced Bram. I don't know. Mr. Stoker's book. The cover alone, again, so right here is, I don't even know how to describe it. Almost like a faux leather, not like, it's kind of like a soft, it's not hard. Like it is a hardcover book, but it's kind of soft right here. And then this, all the red, I don't think it would pick up the texture anyway, but I'm trying to show you, is like a velvet felt, more like felt, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's just a soft book. But the best part of all, you've probably picked up on it as I've been holding the book, bats all along the pages. Like this is a decor piece in and of itself. And I do have one more because this was like not just Halloween, it's a lot Halloween-y, but I wanted this to be all fall. And so if you live in either the US or Canada where you have Thanksgiving, either in October or November, A Catered Thanksgiving, also by Isis Crawford. The book is ultimate cozy. So if you're looking for a book that is purely just atmospheric and involves multiple of your senses through descriptions, and you just want to feel November vibe. All right, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I gave you some ideas